Okay, comrades. I already said that this meeting is presided over by Comrade Vinitha PH, our Joint Secretary, and welcome. My role is to welcome you all. Let us start with that. Okay. Respected comrades, Comrade Vinitha has joined. Vinitha,
Yes.
Comrade Vinitha will preside over. Okay, Vinitha.
സ്വാഗതം പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാ ഇല്ലല്ലോ?
ഇല്ല, സ്വാഗതത്തിന് വിളിച്ചോളൂ.
എനിക്ക് കിട്ടണ്ടായിരുന്നു. Good evening, comrades. I welcome Comrade Rajib Damol to deliver the welcome speech.
Respected comrades, good evening and warm revolutionary greetings to all. Comrades, it is with great pride and responsibility that I welcome you all to this national webinar on labor codes, organized by BFI All India Women's Subcommittee in connection with the upcoming All India strike on July 9th. At a time when the voice of working class needs to be heard louder than ever, it is heartening to see such an enthusiastic participation from across the country. Your presence here reflects the shared commitment for protecting working class rights, upholding social justice, and ensuring the policies are shaped with transparency, fairness, and dignity of labor in mind. Comrades, we all know one of the main demands of the national strike is to scrap all the 4 labor codes. The introduction of these 4 labor codes, that are the Code on Wages, Industrial Relations Code, Social Security Code, the Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code. These 4 codes has brought about a sweeping changes in Indian labor landscape. It's a severe attack on the hard-won rights of the working class, or to shift the balance in favor of corporate interests, weaken trade union strength, push particularly women into even more vulnerable and insecure employment conditions. Among the 4 labor codes, I felt was the most pro-corporate movies that Section 2 of the IR Code legalized fixed term employment. The reality is that fixed term employment, the reality is that the fixed term contract, the employers can appoint workers on fixed term, and once the duration of contract ends, the workers will be thrown without any notice or compensation. In a country with the largest youth population, this is the gravest injustice being done to them. Okay, comrades. Comrade A.R. Sindhu, who is most suited to speak on the topic labor code and anti-worker policies, is present here with us. And that is what everyone has been waiting for. So I will not go into the details right now. Comrades, we have honored to have Comrade Vinitha PH, Joint Secretary, BFI, presiding today's session. We welcome you, comrade, and thanking you for chairing this vital discussion. And we are honored and privileged to have Comrade A.R. Sindhu, National Secretary, CITU, as our key speaker today. A long-standing leader in the trade union movement, Comrade Sindhu has been a strong and consistent voice for workers' rights, especially those of women and marginalized sections, and will be enlightening us on the implications of the labor codes. We cordially welcome Comrades A.R. Sindhu to this webinar. We are honored by the presence of our All India President, Comrade S.S. Anil, General Secretary, Comrade Debashish Basu Chowdhury, and our Secretary, Comrade Hari Rao. Your continued support and guidance strengthen us and our activities. In addition, although I am not mentioning names individually, I take opportunity to warmly welcome all other national and state level leaders, as well as our veteran comrades whose tireless contributions have laid the foundation of the movement. Despite it being a working day, many comrades from across the country have joined us here to attend this talk. Once again, I extend a warm and revolutionary welcome to all of you. I now invite Comrade Vinitha PH to preside over the session. Thank you, comrades. Lal Salam.
Good evening, comrades. As all of you know, July 9th, all the workers, agriculture laborers, trade union workers from organized and unorganized sector are several trade unions are participating from our financial sector. 6 unions are from bank and insurance are participating in this strike. In banking, only BEFI, AIBA and AIBOA are participating. This strike is against the pro-corporate and anti-workers policies of union government. As all of you know, the BJP-led government now in its third term is aggressively advancing its neoliberal agenda. They are aggressively moving towards the privatization of vital national resources, particularly in strategic sectors such as defense and communication. In our sector, our demands are mainly strengthen public sector banks, stop privatization, stop 100% hike FDI hike in insurance, ensure adequate recruitment, stop outsourcing, scrap NPS. Today, here we are discussing about the labor codes. At the time of pandemic, our government passed the labor codes in parliament without any discussion. From that day onwards, they are trying to implement these laws. By the protest of workers and laborers, they couldn't implement these laws today. If these laws, labor codes were implemented, the workers would lose their right to strike, right to form a trade union, etc. Now, I would like to Comrade A.R. Sindhu, Secretary, National Secretary, CITU, to present the topic in this webinar. Welcome, Comrade. ഇതൊക്കെ കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലേ?
It's audible. And Comrade Sindhu, I think she's muted. Comrade Sindhu is not audible.
Mic is not. Yes. It's okay.
Comrade, please unmute yourself.
Prashant, Comrade Sindhu is muted her.
Yes, you can start now.
Sindhu. Sindhu, Comrade Sindhu's mic is muted. It's unmute, Comrade. Prashant, can she unmute her mic?
Hello. Am I audible now?
അയ്യോ ഇതപ്പം ഭയങ്കര yes, comrade.
Yes, now audible.
Now you
Oh,
can talk.
sorry, comrades. I have a problem with my computer connection, so I have to again join from my mobile. I think that the network was not stable. I
it's
hope that now it's okay. So first of all, thank you very much, our BEFI and the Women's Committee, to invite me to this webinar and such an important occasion. I greet you all, the leadership of BEFI, Comrade Anil Debashish and Comrade Rachita, and the president of this meeting, Comrade Vinita. And I have seen some of our veteran comrades like Pradeep Da in this meeting. So greetings to all of you. And it's a great privilege that so many comrades, after the long working hours, that reaching home immediately, joining this meeting, and that is giving us much surprise. And I think that this strike is going to be a fantastic strike even in the banking sector with all your enthusiasm. Comrades, as this juncture, we are going to this general strike on 9th of July. Hardly 1 week is there. So here, one thing that this Central Trade Unions, platform of Central Trade Unions and the sectoral federations, in which the BEFI is very much a part of, that we have decided the main focus of this strike will be the demand of scrapping the labor codes, because we felt that this labor codes, once it is implemented, it is not only going to affect the living conditions of the working class of India, but it will jeopardize the entire democratic structure of the country itself. So that is why that we have given much more importance, and we critically felt also that during this last 4 years, although along with these 3 black laws of the farmers, the central government has passed these labor codes. But the way the peasantry has made that issue or an issue of the common people, we were not able to take the message of how this is going to affect the entire country and the working people. So that we have felt self-critically, and this time we were going vigorously campaigning against these labor codes also. And it's very important for us to understand that how it is going to affect not only the workers. So even that there is a understanding, okay, this labor code is mainly pertaining to the organized sector working class. So, and even the service sector and even the employees are not directly affected by this. It is not that case. So, comrades, one is that it is also in this particular juncture when this international situation also warrants a big resistance move for this imperialist onslaught, politically, economically, and in every sphere of our life, that onslaught is there. So it is very important, and it's very encouraging a very large participation, especially of the women comrades in this webinar. Comrades, as you, most of you, and I think that all of you who are so much committed to attend these such programs at these late hours. So you all know that these 4 labor codes have been passed in during 2019 and 20. And in a very undemocratic way, the three codes which passed in 2020 during the pandemic, the lockdown, and along with these three black laws of the farm acts, which they call, so that this was passed. But the first code, 2000, the code on wages, that was passed in 2019 itself, and the rules also have been, draft rules have been also notified, and this 2020, this has been brought the other laws also. And by the end of the year, that all those procedures for the draft rules that have been completed. But as you all know, that in even around more than 4 years, they are unable to implement it. And this strike was called that because the government, the third Modi government, was going all out for implementation of this labor code by this financial year. And there also, the CITU and its fraternal organizations, we have started the campaign much early, as early in January and December itself. And we have campaigned to going for a bigger resistance action during this period before the, means once if at all they attempt to implement the labor code. That way we have tried, and we could create a situation where we could bring in all the other central trade unions also to declare for a strike. And as you all know, that the May 20th strike was declared, and unfortunately the political situation warranted for a rescheduling of this strike, and now 9th July it is going to happen. So their comrades, these 4 codes that they could not implement, but they are going all out for implementation of this. And I'm not going into the technicalities very much, but I will be giving an overall picture of all those labor codes and all. I think that is also very important. But one thing we must understand, that what is because without talking about the entire circumstances and the background of the entire, means the labor laws, and what is all it about the labor laws. Without that, if we are talking about the code of wages, this and the laws like that, then it will be a little difficult to get a picture of what atrocities this government is doing. So one thing we all know as trade unionists, that this main conflict or contradiction, it is between the labor and capital. In this capitalist society, as the working class emerged, there the struggle also has started. So that struggle still it is continuing, and that is the central contradiction of the entire human society. So that there, the labor versus capital. So where there, how we are visualizing that, what is the clash is all about, what is the struggle is all about, how it is they are trying, and how we are resisting. So that in where that one is the working hours. Working hours, that we want to reduce the working hours, and the capitalist classes, they want to increase the working hours. And about the wages is including the overtime, the bonus, all those things also, the category of wages. Then the other working condition including the safety, security, all those issues also, it is there. Then labor relations, how we are going to, what is the system of the bargain between the capitalist classes and the employees and working class. Then it's the social security. These are all the areas where the conflict is being reflected. And there, the working class through the ages, I mean, as the capitalist system developed, you know, the history of May Day and all, it's all about these areas where the working class is demanding to have a dignified life, and means with all the minimum facilities of human necessities. So there, the capitalist class is always trying to extract the maximum labor and extract profit. So that there, this clash is all about these areas where I mentioned the working hours, wages, working conditions, labor relations, and then the social security. These are all the broadly the areas, the rights regarding this. So there, then means in Indian working class through these decades of struggles, even during the uh, colonial period, that we have been struggling to get all these labor laws in place to have some kind of a regulation on all these things. So there also the means the working hours, like all we know that it's a human right also, the 8-hour working day, and like wages, the minimum wages, all these kinds of set up the labor laws we could get. And this also, we are having a process of evolution according to the capacity, the bargaining capacity of various sections of the working class. There also the law and the particular characteristics of that particular section of the working class also. The various systems and various laws are there. Like the government employees. The government employees is having a various system, a separate system of the wage structure, then the wage negotiation process, the revision of the wage and the working condition process, that is different. Like that, the public sector and the public services, the telecom, railways, then the public sector, other companies are also there. The financial sector. So these are all the kinds of various sectors. Then the armed forces, the army, navy, and air force, they are also having a different system of wage structures and the kind of there. They don't have the freedom of association. The armed forces and the police force in our country, they don't have they can have some association, but they don't have any bargaining capacity, but bargaining rights. Then the financial sector also, you are having a separate system of wage revision. All those setup is there. And in the then whom these labor laws which is mentioning here is applicable to, mainly this organized sector. That means the manufacturing, then the services also, the private as well as the public sector, transport, mining, plantation, then various sectors are there. That service also, the sales promotion agents, journalists, it's even on all these sectors, the contract workers are also there. So these labor laws are pertaining to various areas of their working conditions. Then like the Minimum Wages Act, the Factories Act, the ID Act, the Payment of Wages Act, the Trade Union Act, then the Social Security, PF, ESI, gratuity, all these acts are also there. Comrade, you want me to mix a little bit Hindi? Comrades, Comrade Rajita, you want
Yes,
me
comrade. That would be better.
Okay, you can mix with the Hindi.
कॉमरेड्स जो मैंने बताया है कि ये जो लेबर लॉ का जो आविर्भाव हुआ है, जिसका जो लेबर कोड का हम जिक्र कर रहे थे, तो ये हमारे अंग्रेजों के जमाने से भी हमारी जो लड़ाई हुआ है, उसी के जरिए अलग अलग सेक्टर के लोगों ने अपने अपने जो बार्गेनिंग कैपेसिटी के मुताबिक और अपने सेक्टर का, अपने क्षेत्र के जो कैरेक्टर है उसी के मुताबिक अलग अलग कानून, अलग अलग सिस्टम बनाया है. जैसे बैंकिंग सेक्टर में अलग सिस्टम है, और जो इवन जो हमारा फौज है उसमें तो ट्रेड यूनियन का अधिकार तो नहीं है, वहां पे अपना सिस्टम अलग है, रेलवे का सिस्टम अलग है, और पब्लिक सेक्टर का भी अलग अलग सिस्टम है, BSNL टेलीकॉम का अलग सिस्टम है. तो ऐसे ही ये जो लेबर लॉस है, जो इसमें पब्लिक और प्राइवेट सेक्टर का जो ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर एम्प्लॉयमेंट का हम बात कर रहे हैं कि उसमें कुछ क्षेत्र के अंदर में ये लागू है, जैसे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है, और ट्रांसपोर्ट है, जो खादान का माइनिंग है, प्लांटेशन है, ये जो सेल्स और जो मेडिकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स और सेल्स प्रमोशन है, जर्नलिस्ट है, इस तरीके का अलग अलग जगह में अलग अलग वेज नेगोशिएशन का सिस्टम है, वेज रिविजन का सिस्टम है, वर्किंग कंडीशंस के लिए भी अलग अलग सिस्टम है। तो ये जो ये इस तरीके इसके अंदर में कुछ ये जो हमने जो पहले जो बताया जो एरियाज है, एक तो है कि इसमें काम के खंडे है और जो सैलरी या वेज है, और I am repeating, comrade, जो whatever I am saying, it is not in English, not in Hindi. What I am 1 or 2 points I am repeating in Hindi. That's all. It is the same. Some comrade is giving it in that. It is. I will be definitely majority of my means the my main speech will be in English only. 1 or 2 points I will just explain in English, Hindi also. Mainly it will be in English. तो ये जो वेजेस है और जो काम के कंडीशंस है, जो लेबर रिलेशन जैसे बार्गेनिंग वगैरह है, और जो सामाजिक सुरक्षा, ये चीजों का जो अलग अलग क्षेत्र में जो कानून है, और इसके अंदर में कुछ पाबंदियां है और कुछ सुविधाएं वर्कर्स के लिए मिनिमम, जैसे 8 घंटे का काम इस तरीके का है। और कॉमरेड्स जो बाकी जो कुछ जिम्मेदारियां जो है मालिक है या एम्प्लॉयर है उनका भी है, जैसे वर्कर्स का जो सुरक्षा प्रदान करने के लिए, और जो बाकी है मिनिमम वेजेस, बोनस ऐसा है। और ये अगर नहीं करने के लिए कुछ जो है मालिकों के ऊपर में कुछ सजा भी इस कानूनों के अंदर में होता है। So what I was telling about these various areas of this in the world of work, there are these regulations through these labor laws. It has evolved through the years of struggles by the working class in different systems also. And here there are some conditions applicable when the employer is employing workers. So that regarding the wages, then the working safety at work, or even the overtime, bonus, all these things were applicable. And the employers are having this responsibility to implement this. And if they don't implement these conditions, then there are some punitive measures also can be taken against the employers. So this is the system. At the same time, what is happening with the unorganized sector is that all these places, this system is not, formally the laws are there, but it's not at all applicable in the unorganized sector, where more than 93% of the workforce in our country is working, including in the agriculture sector. There the traditional sectors are there, BD, coir, then the bricklaying, the construction. Then in the new sectors, recent sectors like the scheme workers, the gig workers, that means the platform workers, then the self-employed. These are all the categories of workers whom there is this laws are even not applicable. So practically, this is the entire picture of this labor laws and where it is applicable. So these changes in labor law, this is a process of continuous this tug of war between these two classes. And as we all know, the governments, the various governments at center and most of the states, which is majority of the time coming into power, they are all the government of the ruling classes, what we called, and the employer classes. So they are not means very much by their own. Only through the struggle and compulsion, the pro-worker laws are being made. So after this neoliberal policy started 91, the so-called ease of doing business and the so-called development on that, the labor reforms are always there in the agenda. When the Congress regime was there, all the efforts were made. Whatever now the Modi government has passed the law, that effort for the same kind of changes in the law have been made since 1991, starting from the 91 government itself. So this and the simultaneously as the in the beginning, what Rajita and Vinita were telling about the privatization and casualization, these processes all were on. And there many changes have been already there in the name of the neoliberal policies. And it has become much more aggressive after 2000. And then during this 2004 and 2014, when during the UPA regime, that there was a kind of this aggressive thing, because of the left party strength. But there also one thing we can see, that the pro-labor changes, anything was made, it was mainly some kind of social security to the unorganized sector workers. There is no substantial pro-worker changes even during that period. There were efforts rather to dilute the kind of rights which the workers were having to the changes in the labor laws, the changes in the Factory Act. Then so many changes the government tried to have, and the privatization also, we all know that kind of a struggle was happening. And even when the Modi government came to power in 2014, there were efforts, and some of the changes they have tried to make, the Apprenticeship Amendment Act and things like that also, they have brought in. The threshold limit change and all those things that were attempted. But there was no kind of overhauling in the labor laws. But the second Modi government, and of course we know that there were struggles and strikes, including 2-day strikes during that period also. We could stop. There were efforts, but we could stop that. And even during that period, you know that this land acquisition ordinance they brought, and they have to take it back. That also happened with the workers' persons emerging unit. And when the Modi government came to power in this for the second time with an increased majority, so they were frantically going for these changes, and that is how you know that the 2009 itself, 2009 May was the election, and by July they have brought the Code of Wages, and they have tabled it in the parliament. They presented it in the parliament. So that was the kind of urgency the employer classes were making during that period. And then they have passed it in that year itself. And although this COVID and the kind of pandemic and the job losses, everything was there. And instead of giving any kind of some relief to the working people who were losing jobs and in such a bad situation, so they brought in this labor code. So, and what the claim was there, and there also even earlier there were the effect that, okay, this organized sector working class is having so many things, and you look at the poor unorganized sector class, so they are not having anything. So we want to do something. That was always whether it is Congress regime, means during UPA also, and this NDA regime also, they always try to put these things against each other. And their claim was that, okay, means we are doing something good for this unorganized sector. So here in case of these labor codes also, what the government said that, oh, we are having so many labor laws, so make it less number, simplify it. There is an abundance of labor laws. It is very complicated. So make it very simple. That was one day where I'm saying simplification. The other thing is that the inclusiveness. So this unorganized sector workers, we are going to cover them all in this. These are two goals, things which the government was propagating. All these things, I think that one by one we can see what actually the government is doing. There is no simplification. Many of these things like the social security code and all, many portions are cut and paste also. There is contradicting each other. The provisions are there. Such kind of a no simplification is done in that. And regarding the coverage also, so there is no coverage. Instead, the labor codes are taking away the majority of the workers, even in the organized sector, from the coverage of the labor laws which were already there. So what they have done is that, but they have codified this 29 labor laws. Some of the labor laws they have done away even before that, and for 29 labor laws into 4 codes. So that code is one is pertaining to the code of wages with the then the code on occupational safety, health, and working condition. That working condition is more important. That it is not only the occupational safety, although we call it as a OSH code. It is the working conditions are all defined in that code, and then the industrial relations code and the code on social security. So the first one, which is 2020, 2019, that they have subsumed 4 labor laws: the Payment of Wages Act, the Minimum Wages Act, and the Payment of Bonus Act, and the Equal Remuneration Act. So there, what the new code is doing is that the definition of the wages, first of all, they have removed the other things. So it is only mainly of the basic and D. So the other areas they have not clearly included in that definition of wage. So that means that the employer is not having any kind of he is not bound to implement, means the other part of the wages, or even means the if bonus is not paid, that you cannot put a claim, and all those things are also there. So by definition itself. And then there is no criteria on fixing the minimum wages, because you know that our demand is 26,000 minimum wages. The trade unions are demanding. So on what basis we are demanding this 26,000 is for the survival of a minimum for the a family. So their comrades, it means, and it is on the basis of the 15th ILC recommendation and the one Supreme Court judgment on the Breath case. So that we have been demanding to put that as a basis in the payment of wages also. But the government was not doing, and even here they have not done that in the code. So then again, the amendment, all these things, process that we have taken up, the trade unions continuously. So in the rules, the draft rules, it was not there, and later on it was included, this definition. That is one achievement even during the period we could do. But the point is there, that means we'll see that whom it is applicable to. And the other thing what they have done is that when we are demanding for a bonus or much more facilities on the basis of what the company is making profit. So earlier it was mandatory, obligatory for the employer to give a copy of its balance sheet and the profit and loss account to the trade unions. But now that provision has been removed from this code. So means on whatever the management is saying or the employer is saying, that is to be taken. There is no chance of the trade union or the workers to check with what the profit the company is making, and on the basis of that set their demand. So that is one thing which they have taken away. And also the government, in this code, their definition means, you know, that in a law that you define the worker, who is a worker, define the workplace, the institution, all these things are done in a law. So here the definition of a worker, that is applicable to the worker, but they have used the word worker and employee interchange in many places. So what is going to happen is that who is an employee, who is a worker, there is a difference. So if a worker is going for any litigation on any violation, so then this can be utilized by the management, or means the employer, to deny the benefit to the worker. So that will be a means long process of litigation. It is going to help. So then there is this provision. What is the minimum wages? Who is defining the state? There is provision for minimum wage advisory boards to be constituted. It is all the are tripartite. That means employer, employee, and the government. So the tripartite bodies and their recommendations were binding. The minimum wage advisory board has to recommend for that, and in 5 years. So that is being done away with now. the government is supposed to take a decision on anything. That power has been totally given to them. And the bonus ceiling is not been done away with. The workers and the trade unions have been continuously demanding. That is still there. And then the other two things which is very much important is that this the coverage of this law with all these labor laws, whatever provisions which I was telling now, this minimum wages, the definition is there. But the point is that all these provisions we could include in this also, then whom it is applicable? Which are all the areas where the workers are there, where whom these laws are applicable? That is in these codes, all the codes, they have changed the applicability of this labor code. They have limited it in such a way that earlier it was this workers, number of workers whom it means in an institution, in a factory or an establishment, number of workers were 20 plus or workers were there. That is mandatory to have this application. But now that has been doubled. So that has been doubled means that it means 40 plus is that means that almost 73% of the organized sector workforce, the coverage will be removed. Because in our country, the small and medium enterprises are much more, and they are the employers of the organized sector workers, not the big factories. And now the even the bigger factories, the companies are registering it as 4 or 5 factories in a compound. If you are having a factory employing 100 workers, they will register each building with 20 workers or so as 5 separate entities. That is the employers are doing in various places. So this is taking away the coverage of the applicability of the minimum wages and minimum wages and bonus, all these things from the taking away from the worker. The other thing is that if any violation is there, so you can complain to the labor department as of today, and the labor inspector has to come and check. So they can randomly come and check, and then they can find any violation is there. But that has been totally done away with, only with the permission of the government, the labor inspector, and they have changed the name also. The inspector come facilitate. So then that means that there is no chance of even having the labor office involved in this. So this is what is happening with the code on wages. The other code which is very important is that the code on occupational safety, health and working conditions. So in that, comrade, there are 13 labor laws which have been subsumed in this working conditions code. So there, one is the main law is that the Factories Act. Then there is a Mines Act, the dock workers, the Building and Other Constructions Regulation of Employment Act, Plantation Labor Act, the Contract Labor Regulation Act. Means there are various sections of workers through their own struggle, like the Working Journalist and Other Paper Employees Act, and also the Sales Promotion Executive Employment Act. So these are the acts for the emerge through the struggles of particular sections of the workers and according to their own working conditions. The working condition of the sales promotion executives are not the same as the plantation worker or the construction workers. It's totally different. There, the occupational safety is different. Their health and working conditions are different. There, so but this law they have subsumed it into one law, and it is a means one kind of a single type of system they have. That is not covering the peculiarities of different sections. That is one big problem. Here also, what the coverage, the first of all, here also the coverage on this whole working conditions. that the coverage, they have doubled that from 20 work to institutions of the factories of 20 workers to number 40 workers. As I said earlier, 73% of the organized sector workers have been removed from the coverage. The other is that about the contract workers. Here the contract workers regulation abolition and abolition act also is subsumed in that. Here also you see that there is if you are employing contract laborers, the contractor has to take a license. Here the necessity, it's not necessary for employing 50 workers, up to 50 workers, you don't need a license. So that means that anybody, even if you want 200 employees, you can have five, means 4 or 5 different contractors, or they can have the same contractor, but we can have it in 5 or 5 names, and there will never be any registration process of the contractors. So who is going to implement? And here also the responsibility of implementation of this act, that means the minimum wages, working hours, all these things. So who is going to implement that? And if it is not implemented, who is going to be accountable? That was always the principal employer. For example, if it is a public sector company, if they are employing thousands of contract workers anyway, even including in railways and all, the railway, if any accident takes place in the rail, so many accidents have taken place, and even in factories, even today, you have seen that what happened in Telangana. So if any such thing is happening, the principal employer is accountable. So that has been removed, that has been totally diluted. So this is other problem. And then the 8-hour work, that is most crucial, comrades. Although it means, and it is very peculiar in this code, it is written in one place that not more than 8 hours. And in the next paragraph itself, they are saying that it can be defined, means appropriately by the appropriate authorities. So and it is not only about 8 and these weekly hours, then the period, all these things are being earlier defined in the laws, but that has been totally diluted in that. And here, comrades, it's very important. It is very important even for your own sectors, which you are already overworked. And what is happening with the working hours? This is one most crucial area. Recent statements of all these Narayan Murthy and the last L&T chairman and all, you must all have been discussing that this is one of the corporate agenda, that increase in working hours. So Narayan Murthy was telling about 70 hours working week. And this L&T chairman, he was telling that 90 hours, including the Sundays. You all know that even it's not so long, that even in the banking sector, you got all these, means even the Saturdays off, and means the weekly, monthly to off. And now the demands, with the technological advancement of the humanity, it's quite possible to have the trade unions demand world over, it is a 35-hour work week. So that is 5 into 7. But in that situation, here the other way is all we are talking about the AI, robotics, everything. But at the same time, they want to increase the working hours legally. So, and with no definition of overtime, that means that all those definitions have been taken away. And it is one day, and it's not applicable, and hire and fire, that what Jita was also telling about, that this fixed term employment, and then the what you say. So this hire and fire, that's no permission is needed even for layoff. So earlier it was up to 100 numbers if in a factory that you need to take permission to have closed it down. Now they have removed it and changed it to 300 in that. That means almost 90% of the factories are out of the purview of the, means the, which is of these labor laws. So that is a total, means the lawlessness there. So here this is very, very important, that this is what is one big thing is saying. And comrades, then other thing is that the definition of a worker and the that in that this is one thing is that the number of workers working in an establishment, so increase the number of workers who will be means the up to 300. You don't not need to take any permission to close down the factory, lay off or retrench the workers, no need of any permission. And on the other hand, means in that also they have defined that who is a worker. Then that in that also, if it is in any kind of a supervisory category, they will not be in coming under the definition of a worker. And the wages, that is one thing very ridiculous, that 18,000 per month wage if a worker is getting will not be considered as a worker. And means this is something which is taking away all the workers from the purview of the labor laws. And other exemptions are also all these numbers. The plantation below 5 hectares, the 5 hectares that will be excluded. Then, if in any site there is or a factory there is less than 500 workers, there is no safety officer or no need of having an ambulance. We can imagine what is happened, what would have happened there in Sangareddy yesterday. Then no welfare officer is necessary if the factory is employing less than 250 workers. No canteen is necessary if it is more than less than 100 workers. No crush facility is necessary if it is less than 50 women. No restroom. That means we don't understand that what is the relation between the total number of workers and the restroom. So if the no restroom is necessary, if the workers are less than 50. So these are all the kinds of changes which they have made in these labor laws. And then comrades, the IR code, that it is also very important that this hire and fire policy anytime you can have, and this fixed term employment. And you know that this unionization is going to be means almost impossible. The definition say that okay, means the entire 10% and 100 means if you want to register a union, if the requirement is that 10% of the workforce or 100. Even now it's there. But what the code is making is that it is giving means unlimited power to the registrars and the bureaucrats. The office, it is up to their discretion whether to give the registration to a union if they apply, and also they have unlimited power to cancel the registration of any union at any point of time. So themselves they can initiate and how. And the process of union recognition also, that is almost 51% only, means the recognition, means the bargaining power for the union, it is 51% now. And they will be forming a council, more than 20% the unions have to have. But there is no provision of secret. So that is not mandatory. So this is a kind of a tricky thing, and the workers committee is in place of trade unions they can form, and that will be at their own choice. They will be going to form that, and then to have a strike, it is going to be impossible. So because some ridiculous provisions are there. Earlier the strike notice period was 14 days, but even in one place it is given 14 days. In another place it is given that 60 days. So this is also, and the provision is that if you are giving a strike notice, that time itself, it will be considered that the conciliation process started. And once the conciliation process started, you cannot go for a strike. So this means any strike will be an illegal, and in illegal strike, you can invoke the punitive actions, you can have cases and all. So this is it is not, it may not be possible to have any kind of strikes in the if the new codes are implemented. And then comrade the social security code, where this government is claiming that they have included everybody. What is happening is that in that social security code, 9 laws are there: the Employees Compensation Act, Employees State ESI Act, the EPF, and then the Employment Exchanges Act, Maternity Benefit Act, Payment of Gratuity Act, then the Building and Other Construction Welfare Cess Act, Unorganized Social Security Act. Here what they are trying to do is that, and the main aim is that there is money of the workers' money is there with the PF, and that the government want to have. So most centralization of even the state level of the welfare boards and funds, that is what the courts are aiming at. And then there is no guaranteed benefits or any of these schemes. So there, and even including ESI and PF, that also the threshold have been changed. The establishment where the ESI scheme and the PF was applicable, that has been also increased. So many of the workers will not be there in that the coverage of this. And the other thing is that the contribution to these schemes, they are increasing the coverage, means the EPFO money is there, so they want to cover the other sector workers also under this scheme. The similar is there what they are proposing. They are not yet implemented the ESI also. But from there, and what will be the benefit then? You without increasing, and instead they are reducing the contribution. Like a PF, the contribution has been reduced, similar to the employers also. And also in the unorganized sector, the money, because the employer is not directly visible. So there, like the construction welfare, the any construction cess is taken by the government. So there, the cess has been cut down to half, 24% to 12%. So from where the money will come. So that will be, and then there is no defined unorganized sector social security act was there. So the fund, there is no guarantee, there is no fund given by the government of India, and there is no guaranteed benefit in any of these schemes. So, and many of the other schemes which the government is announcing, there also there is a thing that there is no time for explaining many much more in that terms. It is what we call a reverse subsidy. That means the number of contributors are more, and the amount which they are paying will be more than what the government is distributing. So this is in case of many of the kind of scheme, even in the insurance schemes, which you may also know that this is what is happening. So these are all the entire in the framework of these labor laws. I have not gone into very much technical details and all. So in short, comrades, the main point is that some of the definitions are much better, but what the government is doing is that, one, by definition, they are taking away the coverage. The coverage means there is a law, but nobody is covered under that law. So that is what is going to happen in one way. The other thing is that this unending power to the, means the definition is there that everything is there, but the appropriate authorities or the governments can decide, they can change. So the law will be passed by the parliament, but it can be changed, means by any of the officers the bureaucracy is having, and any of the government, state governments also can change that, means by notification, not through a democratic process of changing the law in the parliament or in the assemblies, but by notification, the appropriate government can take a decision, and also the authorities can, like the registrar of trade unions, they can take any kind of action. So this is the other thing which they are very undemocratically doing, bypassing all kinds of democratic processes and this undermining the entire hard-earned rights of the worker. So these are all the general things which is happening. And you know that then regarding the women workers, there are discriminatory practices to end the discriminatory practices. Some laws are there, like the Equal Remuneration Act. Then for the including the safety at workplace, including the transport, and some of the protective legislations for the night work. So there earlier the provision was that the employer has to apply for an exemption. Now they are going to change that. You can ask the worker, if you have any objection, you can ask for the exemption. So that will be totally against the workers. So this and about the underground work also, this kind of thing, and the maternity leave, menstrual leave, all those provisions are there. So these are all the protective thing which is already there, but even though it is not implemented to the majority of the workers, these are all being taken away. And at this point, you also know that what happened with this pension. This, as I said, that is, there is a notion that, okay, this is applicable to, this is somebody else's case. That is when the other section of the workers, including the unorganized sector workers, what they think is that this is not directly going to affect us. But that's not the case. This is very much, this is the framework where even the democracy of our country is based on. It is a basic human rights of 8-hour work, the minimum wages, the right to form union and collective bargaining. So these are the basic human rights of the 8-hour work and minimum wages. These are all the human rights. And the collective bargaining right of the workers where are the basis of any, even the evolution of a bourgeois democracy. So that is being undermined, means that the democracy is not going to exist if these labor codes are going to be implemented. And in addition, the government is having the other kinds of attacks also, like I said, that on the pension, what is happening? This is already, we are much better off. That is the employees and even including the finance sector, everybody is thinking that. And they can take away whatever we are getting now. That is what happened with the pension. And now even recently the government has changed, means they brought a law to, means the applicability of the pay commission recommendation to the pensioners. The government can decide now. So, and it is applicable even in the UPS and NPS also. So these kinds of legislation every day they are bringing. And in addition to that, they are applying the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, this IPC, that provisions also recently against the striking workers. The provision of the BNS section 111, that is on organized crime, that has been applied against a trade union leader in UP, one of our CITU leaders, has been jailed for 2 months for the workers struck, means went on a strike in Firozabad. So there, and this leader was not there at all on that day, but he has been booked, and the complaint was lodged by the labor officer who is supposed to implement the labor law. He complained against the trade union leader and he was taken into custody, means without bail. More than 2 months he was in there. The section 111 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. So this kind of whole as neo-fascist attacks are coming. And in this situation, comrades, we have called for this strike. That is our counter-offensive. And in the counter-offensive, I think that even this one-day strike has to be it has to be a warning to the government and also the ruling classes, because you see that even recently the labor minister was telling that, okay, I don't need to implement the labor codes. because I am getting it done through the state government. What happened in Karnataka? Karnataka, the working hours has been increased to 12 hours, and now the Shops and Establishment Act has been changed where the IT sector is there in Karnataka. So there the working hours has been increased. The workers are on struggle. And Telangana, these are all Congress governments. There the working hours increased. The Aam Aadmi Party government, they have changed the coverage of the Shops and Establishment Act from means establishment employing up to 10 workers. So these are all across the party, these ruling parties, these Bhusha parties, they are all for the labor kind of anti-labor policies. So there it is very important that it is through our struggles. Even the Congress is supposed means the strike, the Mahagathbandhan in Bihar is supporting, in which the Congress is also a part of. There they are all compelled to come in support of our demands because we have created such a situation. So it's very important. And as you all know, that is very important that the financial sector employees, and you are one of the means the most having that section with revolutionary vigor and having the striking power. So it's very important that you have a good strike. So I hope that this strike will in that financial sector also, in the banking sector also, it will be very successful. And this I could not speak much in Hindi because of the time and because it's very so many points were there. I tried to cover that if anything is there. And if at all you want to have anything in Hindi, I think that it is better to have a separate session on Hindi if at all it is necessary. So I think that I can end here with this frame, and then any question or anything is there, then we can interact. Or you are having enough competent leaders also in this, they can add to whatever I said. Thank you, comrades.
Thank you, Comrade Sindhu, for your simple and comprehensive presentation regarding this vast subject. And Rachita,
Yes.
any
Yes, Vinitha.
response from or
Yes, our
Comrade
leaders are
Devanshish
comrade,
or Hari
I
Rao
think,
or SS Anil?
I don't know what Comrade SS Anil, our General Secretary, all are present. Kindly invite
Now I invite Comrade Debashish, our General
to
Secretary,
respond.
Number of participants getting down 180. Comrade Debashish ille.
Yes, he was present. Or as
More
Comrade
recovery.
SS Anil, Comrade Rajivan, all national office bearers are present. And otherwise, any comrade you can ask.
Debashish
any question.
ille. ഇല്ല ഉണ്ടല്ലോ
Comrade, I have one doubt, Comrade. Vinitha, with your permission, can I ask?
Yes.
Comrade, our labor minister said that states can implement, and Kerala government of Kerala already declared that they are not implementing these labor codes. I think I like that, but national central government thinks they implementing this by with the help of state governments. Okay, then how can we in this juncture how can we overcome the strike we have? But in banking sector only BFI and ABA is on strike, and the other unions are having fraternal support. So a very alarming situation is ahead. Only we have the weapon of striking. Only we have a weapon, that is strike, and that striking is also in danger. Really very. State-wise, any response in the states where in Karnataka, etc., they increased working hour. So some more states increased working hour. Is there any response going on there?
Yeah, shall
From
I
the part
respond
of-
on it? Yeah. Shall I respond, comrade?
Yes, comrade.
Yeah. Comrade, this what the minister meant to, one is that for having the labor code legally notified. So for that, the state government has to notify the rules and all. So there, the Kerala government, as you said correctly, that they have taken a position with we are not going to implement that the Kerala government has declared. But you see that apart from the left party, means nobody is taking a stand clear against these kind of labor reforms. So you see that even during this Kisan struggle, what you see is that the means Narendra Modi in the parliament said that I am implementing your policies. Why are you opposing? That is what he asked the Congress leadership. So this is the kind of thing, and you know that the labor code, the code on wages, it has been passed in the parliament in 2019. And Comrade Elamaram Karim, the secretary of CITU, that time he was an MP in Rajya Sabha, he moved some amendments in some pro worker amendments. You know how many votes we got? That was only 8 votes. The Congress was there, the Aam Aadmi Party, the Samajwadi Party, all these parties were there. But it is not that means means unlike the Kisan, which they think that it's their voter constituency and it's a separate class. So they are means it's in general terms. But here it is the real class struggle. There means we have to means attain more strength through our struggles. There is no other shortcut anyway. This is the attitude of the other governments. That is why we are telling continuously that you see the policies. We are against the policies. Whether the Narendra Modi is not an individual or the BJP. What is the policies? And they are against these neoliberal policies. They are neo-fascist because BJP's ideology suits neoliberalism. That is why Modi is there. Modi is there, that is why neoliberal. It is not that case. It is neoliberalism wants Narendra Modi to be there. That is why he is there. So this is their connection. So these policies we have to oppose. No, so that has to be taken to the people. As I know that they means what the comrade said, that in the banking sector it is always being the BEFI which was fighting means, and you could in many occasions bring in the others. That is the I hope that through the mobilization and the campaign you could, and with a successful strike, the others will also be forced to join in the future. And that is how all these 35 years of this neoliberal policies we could resist. Till now they could not implement that. And you know that, comrade, it is all these policies, it's not, all these labor laws, it is not even applicable to it is applicable to a very minuscule of the workers. But the employer classes, they are afraid of having this in place. So they want to even means for the namesake also, it should not be there. That is the kind of aggressive onslaught on the workers. So we have to also redouble our vigor and effort and go to the people.
Okay, comrade. Now it's 9:30. We have to conclude the session. I invite Comrade Premlada, Women Subcommittee member from Tamil Nadu to give vote of thanks.
Yes, comrade. On behalf of Women's Subcommittee, we extend our sincere thanks to our comrade A.R. Sindhu, National Secretary of CITU, who is the chief guest of this webinar. The central government, the BJP-led central government is claiming that the labor codes are introduced to simplify the labor laws which are in abundance. But Comrade Sindhu, in her speech, clearly and strongly proved that there are a lot of complications and lots of intricacies in these labor codes. And her informative and impressive speech emphasized the need of the hour to strengthen the struggle of the working class of this country against the government to safeguard the hard-earned labor laws, to safeguard the hard-earned labor rights. And I also thank our comrades, our comrade S.S. Anil, who is the president of All India President of our BEFI, and a comrade Devashish, General Secretary of our BEFI, and all other leaders, comrade Vinita, who is presiding this webinar, and comrade Rajita, convener of this Women's Subcommittee. Comrades, on behalf of our Women's Subcommittee, we extend our gratitude to all the participants who have made this webinar a grand success. We know, as this is late hours after of a tiring working day, we know how the first day of a month would be in the banking industry. But even then, you have lots of comrades have participated, and you have made this webinar a grand success. Comrades, this is a clear indication that July 9th is not going to be yet another holiday for us, and particularly for bank employees. It is going to be a struggle day. The bank employees of this country, we are not going to sit in our homes on July 9th, staring at our partners, but instead we will flood the streets of this country. We'll join our hands and strengthen the struggle of this working class of the country, and against the anti-workers, against the anti-people, anti-nation policies of the central government, the BJP-led central government. Comrades, we are sure that July 9th is going to be a historic day in the history of working class movement of this country, and we are confident that the bank employees and BEFI is going to play a significant role on July 9th, comrades. Thank you. We once again thank all, one and all, for participating in this webinar. BEFI Zindabad, working class unity Zindabad. Thank you, comrades. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you all. Meeting is over.
Okay,
Thank you,
comrade,
comrade Sindhu.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good
Okay,
night.
thank you, comrade. Okay, main points you can speak in Hindi, but time, this time constraint is there. So,
Because
Time constraint is the way. We are after
Uh,
9, it is almost
thank you,
9:30
thank
now.
uh,
Thank you,
9:30
comrades.
already.
Good night.
Okay, bye. Good night.
In 1 hour, we can explain all this. You could.
Yeah.
Comrade Guria. Comrade Guria. Good night. Shandechi. Comrade Shanda Malik is in Kerala. Okay, good night, comrades.
Good night, madam. It was very nice to see everybody here today.
We are also happy to see you, comrades.
Thank you so much. I already wanted to see everybody here.
Good comrades.
Nearly 265, Vinita.
Yeah.
265 or 7 participate.
Yes. Not bad.
Yes.
Very good.
Ah, yes. Very good. Okay, comrades. Priyanka. Okay, thank you all. Limitations, we have limitations of online meeting.
കുറെ കമന്റ്സ് എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
എല്ലാം നോക്കാൻ പറ്റിയില്ല.
ഉം.
എന്താ പ്രശാന്ത് കളയുന്നേക്ക് നോക്കാം. എല്ലാവരും താങ്ക്സ് ആണ്. വേറെ ഉണ്ട്. What should be our approach to the problem where government banks are increasing private? BSNL comrade Jyotilakshmi attended.
Cannot hear. हाँ, थोड़ा सा अंडा हल्का गर्म होने दीजिए। हो गया है। तो भात को थोड़ा सा ठंडा करने के लिए करो, बहुत गर्म है। अब आंच कर दो, थोड़ा सा गर्म हो जाएगा। काहे नहीं सुना रहा है ये वाला? नहीं, हम काहे म्यूट करेंगे?